Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I have with me Dr. Marissa Pei. She is the author of 8 Ways to Happiness from Where You Are. Marissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Tell us about your new book and why you decided to write it.
All right. So 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are is a self-help on steroids book. It is for anyone who wants to be happier than they are currently. And so it is a cross between I'm okay, you're still okay, and don't sweat the small stuff and the big stuff. Because we have an epidemic on our hands. The news is very clear that people are not happy, that there are issues that people are dealing with. I have a couple of different groups. The first one is those who really bought into the American dream, which is most of us, who thought that if we, went to school, a good school, got a good job, got good at it, got promoted, got married, had children, had enough money to get the nice car and the house, and then go on 7 weeks of vacation and then die and leave our children the toys. That's the American dream. But what's been happening for a lot of us is, as you can see from the news and Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, is that one, that may not be enough. That may not be enough to keep us here or want to have life. And then for the majority of the population that went through 2008, 2009, the American dream has become the American nightmare. So you're in a job you either got laid off of or you hate. Someone stole or made off with your 401k or any of your savings. Your parents are sick, your kids are on drugs, you're in poor health, you hate your job, but you can't leave because of the money and the responsibilities. You live for your weekends, but the weekends are 2 days out of 7, and it takes you a day to sort of come down and gear up. So really it's one day. So people are not happy. And then if you turn on the news first thing in the morning, there's even more reasons not to be happy. So we are going through a crisis right now, I believe, and you can see it because 1 in 4 Americans are currently on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, still anxious and depressed, and now have this horrible, dangerous side effect, which is actually a main effect called suicidal thoughts. And suicidal thoughts to suicidal actions. It's time to really relook at what is happiness. Is happiness fleeting? In my humble opinion, it's a choice. And so what I did with the book is looked at 8 common places that people get stuck in unhappiness: loneliness, heartbreak, shame, loss, fear, perfectionism, control freakism, and then offers exercises and a solution, a way out, which an inside out job to get and choose happiness 88% of the time.
Connect the dots between money and happiness for me.
Sure. So money, I'm not saying that money will not bring you comfort. And comfort can affect your happiness. So someone who doesn't have a roof over their head or food in their stomach or money in their wallet is not going to be happy. Although there are studies that show, there's this village in Africa of children who are dying of AIDS, who have no money, who don't have health, and they are happy, singing, laughing in a community that embraces them and they embrace. So there is something to say about money, but I don't think they starve. So they have food. So of course, money is an energy that will help you with your happiness factor, but it will not guarantee you, as we saw with Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, that it will not guarantee happiness. So you can have all the money in the world. What is that case of that multi-billionaire who lost billions and became a multi-millionaire and was so unhappy that he took his own life too? So obviously some people will say, if I had $1 million, I'd be happy. But if you're a perfectionist or you're always in that place of it's never enough, even if you had $1 million, it would never be enough. So you're still unhappy if you're in that place of not enough.
And the statistic, 88% happiness, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so if you're 100% happy, you're dead. So we don't want you to be dead. We need contrast. And I know you think I'm Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And in Mandarin, 8 is a lucky number. It is a homonym for good fortune. So I embrace now my Chinese roots. I didn't always, but that's another book and another story. But 8 is double good fortune. So that's why I say 88%. And it's specifically geared towards perfectionists. I'm a recovering control freak and perfectionist who think that everything can be perfect or everything can be 100%. And if you believe that BS, if you have that belief system, you will be unhappy almost all of the time because nothing is perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Your insignificant other, also known as your partner, they're not perfect. Your kids aren't perfect. So can we be happy 88% of the time?
Got it. Let your personal information out about your past. It's not necessarily pretty. Why did you do that?
Because I had to be relatable. You know, it's one thing to be an organizational psychologist. It's easy for anyone who has a degree or some modicum of success to tell you what you need without sharing my own personal abuse as a child, with my own personal, very expensive divorce. What I'm allowed to do is say, look, I may not know your pain, but I know pain. I know life pain, but I also know that I don't want you to suffer. So pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional. And I also wanted to really hit head on one of the BS that also exists in our society is that if we've had past trauma, if we did not grow up in that really, Aussie or, the healthy home that we see on TV, the fact that 7 out of 10 of us, according to psychological research, come out of a damaged home, and my honorable moniker Oprah actually says 8 out of 10. And I looked up the stats just a couple of months ago, and it was up to 90-some% of us grow up in dysfunctional homes. Why is it that the majority of us who've had that traumatic past think that there's something wrong with us? Why? Who gave us that belief system? Who said that if we've had trauma in our past, that we'll never catch up, that we're always going to be behind, that we're never going to heal, that voice that says to us, that many of us who have been damaged in our past has, you're not worthy, you don't deserve happiness, you're not all that, you're never going to be as good as a person who hasn't had a damaged past. So that BS also keeps us in unhappiness. And for many of us who grew up with you can't change the past, so just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and march on. We don't want to talk about past pain. We don't want to talk about how you've been abused because it doesn't matter. The past is past. Well, the reality is if you don't deal with that pain, it gets stuffed down, it becomes infected. Garbage disposal panel that crushes down garbage turns into liquid, turns into gas. And my clients who come to me as an executive coach, they've spent their whole lives, they get to midlife opportunity. I don't call it midlife crisis. At midlife opportunity, all of a sudden they can't stop crying, or they're walking around going, I'm not angry, as all of this gas starts coming out, because what you do not deal with will come back and deal with you. So the beautiful thing about unhappiness is we're all going, hey, wait a minute. I'm not happy. What is going on? So we're looking for an answer, but I'm hoping this book is for those who are trying medication and it's not working for them. So instead of staying in a situation where you may become even worse off, and I'm not attacking the pharmaceutical, I think that medication, if it works for you, fabulous, but many, many people it is not working for, and that's who I am trying to reach.
You brought up pharmaceuticals and the side effects and main effects. Are you going to war with the pharmaceutical
No.
companies? Or?
No, I'm not stupid. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I do believe that the advances in medical science are really great. However, I mean, how many people have watched the commercials and after they finish what it promises, and then it goes through the list of it may result in blah, have said, wait a minute, I'm taking something that may help here, but may cause me more issues. And the FDA is having to look at the link between medication and suicide. And so if it's not me, I'm just here going, okay, if it's not working for you, here's another possible solution. Because for me, it was an inside out job. I could not take anything to alleviate the voices in my head that said, you're a piece of shiitake. No matter what you do, you will never feel good. You will never get ahead. And you fooled everybody with your degrees and your awards. But inside, we all know you're a piece of shiitake. So I had to find a way out of that. And that's where the exercises in the book come in, where I promise if you do the exercises, if you let me give you a piece of my mind and my heart, PEACE, then you will never hate yourself the same way again.
All right, there's a lot of wisdom that I'm sure you can impart. Send me the book. I can't wait to read it. And thank you for being a guest on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's all about balance. Peace in and peace out. That's world peace through inner peace.
Great. Thank you, Marissa. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.